Let's start off with the show itself, the fact that it brings out giant crowds around the world. You're bringing out a sold-out crowd, not just in Melbourne, but in Sydney too. Why do you think something like this, role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons, brings out such massive crowds around the world?
It's a great question. I think the thing that makes me so delighted by the response that actual play, performance, that tabletop role-playing games being performed live is getting is it combines this hobby that draws an extremely dedicated, ravenous fan base on top of these sort of traditional improv comedy performance skills, right? Voice acting. A lot of these talents sort of come together in this perfect storm that I think has just hit also a time period where people are looking for not only comedy, not only performance, but also I think looking for a degree of, for lack of a better word, like intentional coming together of community, friendship, right? Like the dream, I think a lot of people have made the joke in the past that like the dream of actual play is, what if this was my job so that we could have a regular game? And I think that honestly, there's a part of that I think is really felt. So I think audiences are responding to the authenticity, the spontaneity, the fact that this is so genuine and authentic in that moment. The first time I saw a live improv show, and I just realized, oh, this is just for us. It's being created here in the moment with us in the room. Our laughter, our response to this is even part of the show, is I think so intoxicating. And then you just add this gripping kind of narrative format, and the fact that, I don't know, there's something really intoxicating at the end of the day, fundamentally about the dice. We don't know what's going to happen, just like you. That's really special.
That is a beautiful, well-rounded answer. I love that. I think you've already answered like 3 of my questions that I had for you in one.
Efficiency.
Love that. The last time that D&D sold out stadiums across Australia was Critical Role. Had a lovely chat with them. They said that it's all due to the power of friendship, and that's why. Do you feel like the relationships you make on stage and in your games comes through during the shows?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, it is the power of friendship, but what's also so sort of like intoxicating is I had never met Tom, Jordan, Demi, or Zach prior to, an hour, one Zoom call and then an hour before we're on stage together. The degree of familiarity, of rhythm, of a shared sensibility and sentiment was so electric. So sometimes that feeling of friendship, I think, can get purported as like, to be good at this, you have to have known someone since childhood, right? But I think what that friendship is about is it is so intoxicating to have that person that you have 20 years of history with, and it's so intoxicating to discover in the moment, oh, you rule. I love you. And play, I've always felt that any kind of play, whether it's tabletop role-playing, whether it's sport, whether it's improv, whatever kind of thing that puts you into activating all of your faculties in a place of flow state and celebration of the mastery of your own capabilities. That state of play speed runs relationships in a way it's hard to communicate to people. I think the level of intimacy you would get with a work colleague in 5 years, you can get in a couple months of like doing improv or playing D&D with someone. Because play just reveals so much about who you are and how you feel so quickly in this extremely thrilling way. It's really I think, not to be corny, but I think there's something really fun about the way you fall in love with people when you play games with them. And you see that in those moments. And I think part of that is what makes actual play so wonderful, is you're either exploring a deep pre-existing relationship or you're watching the budding of a new one.
I love the corniness. I love it. To go off of what you said before a little bit as well, bringing up your connection that you made with some of the Aussie talent that you met. In your limited experience with just one show under the belt so far, how do you reckon the Aussie talent in the D&D and role-playing world stacks up?
I was blown away. But here's the thing. I could have told you. I taught improv for many years in many years in New York City. I taught a lot of intensives, which were 8 weeks of classes compressed into one class. Those classes are really attractive to people that are coming in from out of town because they want to take a UCB core class. They want to take like a improv class at one of these big improv theaters. But who wants to move to a place for 2 months? So they would come do the whole class in a week. I taught so many of those classes, and overwhelmingly, was delighted every time an Australian student was in my class. I think there's something in the national character that lends itself not only to comedy writ large, but to the easy, playful absurdity of yes and having a true spirit of whatever you say, I'm on board. It was beautiful, and I had a feeling just from many years of working with Australian improvisers and comedians that we were going to have a ball, and I was, even with high expectations, blown away by how talented and hilarious Zach, Demi, Tom, and Jordan were.
That's fantastic to hear. Amazing. I've got one last question for broadcast for you as well. You're in the hot seat now of the biggest D&D related tabletop show. I mean, you've been in some of the biggest ones over the last 10 years, but now you're in the hot seat of arguably the most recognizable one as well. How does it feel taking the reins for good at this point with campaign 4?
It's a wild, so it's the gift, honor, and I've spilled my coffee.
All good.
I promise I'm not nervous. It's the gift, honor, and privilege of a lifetime to be able to work with all of the incredibly talented cast that I've worked with. This past couple months, I have been in the middle of recording a brand new Intrepid Heroes season of Dimension 20, recording our initial outing in Campaign 4 of Critical Role. We are gearing up for my wonderful friend Abria Iyengar's turn at Worlds Beyond Number. And I look around and I'm surrounded by games and storytelling with some of the most talented, brilliant, and good-hearted people I've ever worked with. And I cannot describe to you how much I move through life in a bewildered state of gratitude. If the question is sort of how does it feel to be in this position, it feels dreamlike. It's not something that I ever could have predicted. You would have been an absolute fool at 10 years of age to be like, this thing that people are putting my head in the toilet for, I think this will one day sell out Madison Square Garden. You could not, that would be outrageous, right? So to have kind of stumbled into this is a piece of unearned luck that I will forever only be too grateful for and try to work my ass off to say thank you for. And yeah, the being asked on board at Critical Role and getting to play with all of them for Campaign 4 has just been so thrilling and exciting. And for people that have just, we've had like the first 2 episodes out right now, baby, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, I love that.